What happens when thousands of people watch someone destroy their life in real time, but no one can stop it? This is exactly the story of XioMara, a 30-year-old woman struggling with obesity since her teenage years. Someone who has tried for years to change, but keeps falling back into the same deadly cycle. The creator has been documenting her struggle online for years with the same promise: I will fix myself. Unfortunately, what started as a genuine attempt to lose weight later turned into self-sabotage, which many had been predicting for a long time. What really set the stage for this irreversible damage was Xio's progression towards excessive eating, the online attention that rewarded it, and ultimately her refusal to change. The creator began posting and streaming mukbangs regularly, and as her addiction worsened, her content started drifting towards feeder culture, a very dark corner of the internet where overeating is fetishized, encouraged, and rewarded. After endless consumption and disappearing from the internet for weeks, XioMara would post a heartbreaking update from her emergency room bed. Her compulsion had finally pushed her to the edge of death. But despite half of her body now paralyzed, XioMara continues to repeat the very patterns that brought her to the brink of death. And all of this makes one wonder how much of this collapse is due to Xio's own compulsion and not because of fate, and at what point does self-harm stop being tragic and start becoming a choice? To understand that, we have to go back to the version of Xio people were first rooting for. XioMara, also known as XioTheDreamer on the internet, is a TikTok content creator who went viral in 2020 for the uniqueness of her content.
XioMara, what are you doing?
Regina George.
A struggling, obese, yet hopeful person dancing to lame songs and documenting their story for the world to watch. The following Xio attracted in the first few years of posting was very mixed. While some people left incredibly positive comments, believing they were watching someone on the way to a better life, there was a large portion of viewers who made demeaning and fat-phobic remarks about Xio. And what made people like her more was her approach to the trolls. XioMara would usually laugh them off and not really care too much.
That is so disrespectful.
The viewers admired this trait of hers, and with growing attention, the creator managed to pull a following of hundreds of thousands, and her account currently sits at 442,000 plus followers. From her old content, it seemed that Xio had built this platform solely to document her weight loss journey, something most of her viewers were waiting for. The road to the final destination was meant to be rocky. Back in those years, Xio weighed around 600 pounds, making her life extremely frustrating. Her weight had reached a point where even walking short distances became difficult.
I just got home. I started a new job. I have a plan to wear on my left foot. This is the second time. I feel like I have a brain tumor, but I'm still going to work.
Her struggle was real and unending. It interfered with her job because it kept her from standing for long hours. The pressure on her knees was causing her mobility issues. Not only that, but her figure was also a constant reason she had to face discrimination at workplaces and in her normal life overall. XioMara had appeared on social media to raise awareness about what she and many people like her suffer from.
Guys, what's up? You guys may know me as Ziolita. I created my platform last year to spread awareness about obesity, not to promote obesity.
Interestingly, this was not her first attempt at it. Besides TikTok and Instagram, Xio had used other accessible platforms with the same goals. As we dig deeper into her past, we discover that her weight gain was not random, and she's dealt with obesity all her life. From facing intense bullying for her weight as a child, to joining a rehab center at the age of only 15, her life has been mainly haunted by the curse that refuses to leave her side to this day. And as sad as it is, the creator's own behavior and lack of accountability are partly to blame. But her drive to lose weight and live a healthy life was well alive years ago. The proof? An old TV show. Xio had appeared on an American reality show called Dr. Drew's Life Changers in 2011 with the sole goal of losing all the weight that was holding her back from living like an average person. At that time, XioMara was also in a rehab facility and revealed that she weighed 417 pounds, which is almost 4 times the healthy weight for an average 15-year-old.
I'm gonna tell everyone how much I weigh. I weigh 417 pounds. I can't handle it anymore.
And the younger Xio knew that was a problem. She also knew she had to make a change, and she seemed more than ready to commit to it.
And then I see some guy, right? And he's like 400 pounds, and he's staring at me. He's just staring at me. And he says, he stops and he says, oh my God. He's like, wow. He's like, I'm an emotional eater. I can't stop. And he almost started crying. He's like, how do I do that? He's like, I need so much help. I just have my daughter and I'm an emotional eater and I can't stop. And I'm just like, you're asking me for advice? And I was like, I'm 15 years, I started crying. I was like, I'm 15 years old and this is my life. I'm tired of living like this. I'm 417 pounds. I was 417 pounds and now I'm 388 and I just keep on fighting. I don't give up. This is my life. I don't want to be like this. And he started crying. He's like, I'm an emotional eater. If something happens to me, I go to the refrigerator and I start eating.
Plus, in the reality show, she openly expressed feeling disgust and frustration upon looking in the mirror and finding her lively, free soul trapped in an unhealthy body.
In the mirror, I see disappointment. I feel disgusting. No one understands the inside of me. No one understands how I feel every day.
Dr. Drew and his team acknowledged her issues, and the professionals provided her with the medical and fitness tips she needed to lose weight. So she began following the physical training she got very strictly. Xio began exercising and walking regularly. This commitment was helping her out too. The rehab center she joined and the show she appeared on did help her develop countermeasures and healthy eating habits, and she also managed to lose multiple pounds because of it. But all went in vain the second she returned home. Xio's obsessive eating habits made a drastic comeback after leaving the facility, and she regained more weight than she had lost previously. And this was not just a mere lack of active support from professionals. It was a self-chosen pattern that Xio repeated in her TikTok content consistently in the years to come as well. XioMara, at the beginning of her content creation journey, appeared to be very hopeful about a normal life awaiting her. There were moments of breaking down and questioning her worth, but Xio believed deep down that she had the potential to become who she wanted to be. So for the first few years, XioMara would document herself doing TikTok things and some exercises here and there to help her lose the fat. Although the progress she was making during this time was slow, it was there. Xio was trying to change, and the results were living proof of it. In late 2021, XioMara posted a short compilation of her progress with her weight loss, and according to it, the creator had managed to lose 20 pounds with consistent effort, and she went from 625 pounds to 585 pounds by the end of that year. Now this was something her followers wanted to see. They wanted her to regain what obesity had stolen from her. Her viewers wanted to witness her have control over her life and become healthy again in real time. And Xio, although painfully struggling, appeared to be on the right track too.
I'm in so much pain. I can't believe I allowed myself to get this big. I'm in so much pain.
With updates like these, her content in the beginning seemed inspirational, and thousands of people struggling with excessive weight found solace in watching someone bring hope for them as well. And this continued for a while, and Xio kept losing and gaining weight throughout 2020, 2021, and 2022. These fluctuations were natural and nothing to be scared of. It was actually a glimmer of hope for Xio. Her viewers were also hopeful that they would witness a major change in her build, and she would turn into an average, healthy person. I really wish that were the case, but as time passed and the progress slowed down, Xio decided to prove all of her supportive viewers wrong. By the end of 2023, XioMara's content took a drastic turn from which she never returned. Mukbang videos featuring large amounts of junk food and
Rawr. Take a huge bite. You got it? I haven't had this in forever.
ASMR videos featuring big packs of snacks. At first, the shift into food content didn't seem dangerous, and it was also not very abrupt either. It was actually indicative of a several-year-old issue that XioMara failed to recover from, and sadly, it only got worse with time. But no one at that time found this change odd, and people mostly didn't care much. Some of her followers, however, would still suggest she eat a calorie-deficient diet, and that was about it. Nothing but that salad looked healthy for you. Calorie intake, girl. Reduce your calorie intake if you want to lose. You can do this. Protein, veggies, and fruit should be your best friends, and if you are diabetic, skip the fruit. But what started as little soon became noticeable and even concerning during 2024, the year in which most of her videos started revolving around eating and live streaming mukbangs. Xio completely gave up on self-care content and shifted her focus completely towards food and foodie content.
Microphone. It's more like if you're doing stuff.
Slowly, this theme evolved into a warning sign. Her followers were growing concerned with every upload, and they kept pushing her to seek personal training to lose the fatal weight she was gaining because of the endless food consumption. This binge eating of restaurant food was also causing hormonal issues, and Xio was beginning to grow hair around her chin and mouth area.
Welcome to part 2, mother lovers. No hate to that comment, but when is this gonna end? This stereotype thing that people think that weight loss literally fixes everything in the book.
And as much as people wanted her to know that it was caused by her own choices, Xio continued to deflect all criticism and advice. What made this situation worse was that nothing seemed scary enough to stop her, and she kept slipping into the comfort of compulsive overeating.
I can only have it like once a month. Sorry if I'm spitting everywhere. I'm trying to film this ASAP. Okay.
2024 was also the year XioMara contracted COVID for the 3rd time despite being vaccinated.
Whoever got me sick, fuck you. Huh? COVID for the 3rd time is not a good look.
This only goes to show that obesity was in fact causing the collapse of her immune system alongside her physical build. Now this was supposed to be a sign for Xio to start taking her health more seriously, but all she did was eat and post TikTok videos from the bathroom stalls of the food places she frequented. About her social life during this time, it was at an all-time low. The only time Xio appeared to be around people was during her working hours. Other than that, Xio did not seem to have much of a social network, and the only human interactions she had in her day-to-day life were with the trolls on the internet, who promoted nothing but negativity. And it was pretty clear that all these jokes and inconsiderate puns were taking a toll on Xio's health. Her only escape from the loneliness and lack of belonging it caused was, again, food.
That does it. It has mayo, turkey, cheese, tomato, avocado, and mustard. This past month, I've realized that I have been a lot much hungrier in the day, in the mornings. And I don't know what that tells me about my body, but as soon as I wake up, I'm hungry.
And it ended up becoming an unbreakable loop, but the worst was still yet to come. By the end of 2024, XioMara had managed to build a following of 300K on TikTok, and the content people found the most entertaining, her eating and cooking vlogs. Overconsumption had become a core ingredient of her content strategy by this time, and Xio could see no problem with it, because she was getting views for it, and people were getting the foodie content that they wanted non-stop. And as if everything was already not going downhill for Xio, something even more problematic tagged along. In September of the same year, Xio would post videos from the bathroom stalls of dance clubs, which in itself isn't so much a problem.
Yo, you'll never believe where I am.
And on the surface, it did seem like she was just having fun and dancing her worries away. But there was something much more bizarre going on behind the scenes. The creator suddenly posts an update from a dance club meant to be a safe space for plus-sized women, but the video featured a very concerning figure who no one knew was a problem at the time.
Dingleberry.
Hi guys, this is my first time trying Bahama Bucks.
This mango is so artificial.
We're doing, I don't know how I'm gonna hold it.
Stefan Wilhelmy, the owner of a seemingly normal but deeply concerning space, the Pearadise. So what exactly is Pearadise? It was basically a social media collective and content house meant to promote body positivity and a nourishing environment for plus-sized people. The owner, Stefan Wilhelmy, built this community for these people so they could feel like they belonged and were loved by friends who truly appreciated them for who they were. And this was exactly something XioMara needed at the time, a group of similar people she could turn to while battling the loneliness she had suffered from throughout her life. The woman soon began posting updates from the swimming pool of the Pearadise house. She would be found doing dance challenges with her new friends or from the bathroom of the content house and eating large amounts of food as usual.
You know what? If you're lonely on Thanksgiving, that'll do it.
At first, no one found this strange. Most viewers believed that Xio was just enjoying life, making new friends, and having a good time with them. Xio, for the first time she was in Las Vegas, stayed at the Pearadise house and made some really great friends. But not everything was as great as it seemed from the outside. The second Xio parted ways with them, she fell right back into the dark pit of the solitude she was trying to escape, and her only comfort was food, and she began consuming a lot of it.
We're eating burgers and then we're gonna go.
Subscribe to have your comments read out loud.
Something worth noticing was also the weight Xio ended up putting on after befriending the new plus-size people. It had reached a point where Xio could barely fit inside a car.
I'm a double, I did nothing to it. Tight fit.
And as many had suspected, this indirect or direct encouragement of overconsumption led to a fatal deterioration and pushed Xio to the brink of death. On January 24th, 2025, XioMara posted a heartbreaking update on her social media after going MIA from TikTok for a few days. She could be seen lying in a hospital bed, covered with tubes attached to her mouth. Xio had barely escaped death. But what really went down? Was it only food, or was there something or someone else to blame? Apparently, one of her friends had noticed Xio acting strangely and not really like herself. Her weight was the most she had ever put on, and her lips were turning blue. She didn't seem well, and when she was brought to the ER, her oxygen levels were at an alarming low of 58. Had it not been for a friend, Xio would not have made it. Where are the body-positive people now? Oh right, not accepting that this is a consequence of their actions. Not only this, but she had contracted pneumonia and flu, and her lungs were filled with liquid, causing severe difficulties in breathing. It got to a point that the doctors had to put her in a medically induced coma, and Xio was intubated for several days because of how poor her condition had gotten. This sudden collapse led to Xio losing mobility in her limbs, and her right arm and foot struggle to function to this day. And all of it was caused by her obesity and her refusal to fix her extremely harmful eating habits. In there for pneumonia and people commenting on her weight, that's crazy. Is pneumonia exclusive to only large people? I'm so confused, are y'all just that dumb? Nobody's dumb. Pneumonia gets worse if you have extra fat crushing your organs. Like, let's not be dense here. Her body isn't gonna regenerate the same. This update was extremely shocking for the viewers who had gotten very used to watching multiple updates from Xio in a single day. They didn't want to lose another young influencer to obesity. It's time to take care of yourself, my love, and surround yourself with people who want to do better too. It's a hard journey, but it's worth it. And then came the comments full of concern, telling Xio to start taking her life seriously. It was evident that the creator had reached a point where food was more of a poison than a fuel for her. The people who genuinely wanted to see her get better over time began pushing her to acknowledge the warning signs and make the changes she needed to. These concerns only grew, and Xio completely vanished from the internet for 4 whole months. Discussions on multiple internet platforms began. I'm so worried for her. Someone commented that she is very sick again and in a coma, but who knows if that's correct? Everyone was suspecting that the worst had happened and Xio was no more. But then on May 2nd of 2025, Xio finally posted an update from her hospital bed.
Hi guys, today's May 1st, 2025.
She was still bedbound, and things did not really seem great for her. Her condition had not improved much, and it was becoming painfully obvious that she would need some time to stand back on her feet again. This update, however, was met with more frustration than relief, because what Xio was doing on her deathbed was what actually brought her there. Yes, you guessed it. Another Eat With Me video while she still had a nasal tube attached to her face for survival.
2025, eat with me while I answer a couple questions. Today for breakfast, I have Cheerios for the entree.
And from the way she was obsessively talking about her food, it had become evident that Xio was sadly a lost cause. No warning signs and no health scares were gonna stop her from eating her life away, in a literal sense. What also made zero sense was Xio's complaints about all the unimportant stuff, including the drafted content for TikTok that she lost when she was being shifted around the hospital for her intubation process.
So I lost all my content, all my drafts. Like, you guys, I was sad for like weeks. You don't understand, because like I wanted to post that stuff.
Xio was completely out of touch with the reality of her situation, and she was using food as a way to numb her pain. And her food dependency had gotten so bad that Xio was having a hard time watching TV because of the food commercials.
One really hard part, one hard thing for me was watching TV, because of all the food commercials.
The creator complained about drooling over carbonated drinks she watched on TV while she was being tube-fed in a hospital bed.
Any fast food place, when they show the drink, like the Coca-Cola or like the Sprite, how carbonated, like how the drink looks, makes your mouth water. I don't know how to explain how that works, but it works, and I was influenced, and I would cry. Actual tears and I'd tell my nurses, I'd be like, I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. And it's the truth. America is influenced.
Xio's lack of accountability for her own actions and blame shifting only continues to worsen the condition she's suffering from, even at the moment. Sad you had to end up in the hospital to start caring about your weight. And this unstoppable behavior repeated in the series she started at her followers' request, who wanted to see her make at least some changes to fix her situation.
Hello, my little dreamers. Welcome to my new series called Life at Rehab.
This series was named Life at Rehab because the creator was finally put into a rehab to help her with the loss of mobility in her limbs. During this time, Xio remained bedridden for obvious reasons and needed oxygen masks for survival. And this rehab series enabled her to record what she ate from her rehab bed and complain about the food the facility provided. Xio would cry multiple times throughout a single day because she didn't get to eat more calorie-dense food.
My hair. But yeah. Okay, so I just had my first cry of the day. It's 1:20. It's because I'm starving and I haven't ate anything. And I do this every day. Like, this is why I have issues with food. Don't skip meals. Anyways, I'm just gonna order food. I'm so frustrated because I can't move my hand or my arm, and my arm is like bent in a certain position and I need it to go the other way. It's so frustrating.
But the most shocking part of this whole bizarre saga was the food delivery app Xio would use countless times a day. Xio would order large portions of processed food to her rehab room and film herself reacting to the taste of whatever she was eating.
So this is a lunch. It's carrots, a dinner roll, and beefy hash brown casserole, which I've never had, and then I get Gatorade Zero.
What made this whole thing even more frustrating was Xio's self-awareness. She acknowledged that what she was doing was wrong, and there were ways to help change that, but she never dared to break the pattern.
I shouldn't do that to myself. Without saying it in a rude way, I don't need to feel like I need to eat this no matter what.
See the excuses you just gave yourself. Your mind is so powerful. It's always going to try to keep you in your comfort zone. You have to try to fight it. You can do it. The woman had completely confined herself to the sole purpose of consuming. The whole thing was very sad and heartbreaking to witness. People would leave helpful solutions and alternatives to the processed foods in her comments, but to no avail. Replace any sugary foods with fruits, soda with sparkling water, avoid all fast food. Thinking of your health before every meal is what got me to lose 30 pounds. The food noise is definitely loud at first, but it will eventually quiet down the less you give in to cravings. All Xio would do in this series instead was self-victimize and feign ignorance of the actual problem. There were instances where she would try to escape the loop by deleting the DoorDash app, but every attempt at control seemed to last only until the next craving hit, and this repetition reminded the internet of another plus-sized influencer who apparently suffered the same fate, Amberlynn Reid, an extremely controversial internet figure who's been the subject of countless controversies due to the nature of her content and personality. What she's best known for, though, is her contradictory content surrounding weight loss. Her digital footprint is insane. People are mostly fascinated because she's bedridden and humongous, yet consumes 20,000 calories a day. One time she showed her massive collection of earrings and said, "Earrings are the only thing that always fits." Amber began documenting her life on YouTube to lose weight, but she ended up following the same sad track of self-obliteration and contradiction. From restricting herself from food to worshipping it, the path Amber followed in her content creation journey was very familiar. Her weight loss journey soon turned into a weight gain journey when she began using food like some substance, and this very pattern has been identical among many plus-sized influencers who join the internet for the sole purpose of regaining control of their lives, only to lose themselves in the process. While the food addicts themselves are mainly to blame, some concerns need to be addressed. One major being, how much of this destruction is spoon-fed and encouraged directly by the outsiders and not the obese people. Let's dig a little deeper to uncover some dark truths. To find the answers, we would need to revisit the part where XioMara started mingling with other plus-sized content creators at the Pearadise house. And no, it's not the creators, but the owner of the content house, Stefan, who is accused of contributing to her near-death experience.
Just give me my money.
And this is not just internet speculation. An official docuseries called Big Girls Wanted Escaping Paradise is coming up, which will cover the gory details of what he did to all the plus-sized women he wanted to nourish at Paradise. The space the owner created was anything but positive, and what went on there was far from anything remotely positive or healthy. Stefan Wilhelmy has been accused of fetishizing the plus-sized women who lived at the content house, and many of them have even accused him of misconduct, overfeeding, and SA. This man allegedly forced the women to gain weight and have intimate relationships with him. However, after meeting Wilhelmy in person, the women claim things took a downward turn as they accused the Paradise founder of fetishizing them and pressuring them to gain weight. The 3-episode-long docuseries would air on June 10th of this year, and these accusations would be investigated in more depth. But why link XioMara to all this? Because if we cross-check the timeline, Xio started showing the warning signs of developing an extreme binge eating disorder when she was hanging out with the people at Paradise. Not only that, but Stefan Wilhelmy has also been seen as one of Xio's close Las Vegas friends in some of his TikTok videos. This man could likely have been involved in encouraging the escalation of consumption issues in XioMara's life. The close relationship Xio had built with him and the content house members can be living proof of it. This situation also brings us to the case of Amberlynn Reid, who remained a victim of such fetishes at the hands of her own romantic partners. Apparently, one of her girlfriends, Emily, also known as Tommy, was involved in overfeeding Amber to satisfy her feeder mania. Now, feederism, in its most harmful form, can be predatory, where they derive sexual pleasure from feeding an overweight person to death. Before meeting Emily, Amber was in the process of losing weight. The creator had given up on all the destructive habits that added to her weight, but as soon as Emily appeared in the picture, people began noticing a shift. Amber quit her weight loss journey and began overeating again, and no one could understand why. But as soon as her relationship with Emily became public, the internet connected the dots, because this girl Emily was known to have a fat fetish, and Amber was not her first victim. She used one of her ex-girlfriend's vulnerabilities to fulfill her desire and ended up pushing her to her death. Apparently, Emily is known to feed her ex-girlfriend till she gained 1,000 pounds, and the victim ended up dying because of her obesity. Simply put, this person represented a serious danger to the vulnerable obese women's community. Emily and Amberlynn's relationship remains the internet's most discussed controversy to this day, and unfortunately, a part of this controversy can be linked to XioMara. Oddly, Emily had been seen in XioMara's food live streams, and the creator herself confirmed that Emily was, in fact, supplying her money so she could buy food to consume. She streams on TikTok, and people have posted Emily being in her chat and giving her money. It's confirmed to be Emily. Emma's gross. This only goes to show how sick and twisted some people can be, and how wrong their intentions towards an already struggling person can be. As if Xio's condition wasn't already so concerning, the involvement of such a sick person in her collapsing life was a red alarm. This is not new. Emily was DMing her and sending her corn about a month ago, and Xio, who's now too far deep into this hellhole, is the easiest target for the feeder community for several reasons. For starters, Xio had been in a rehab facility for several months with no source of solid income, so it would only be normal for her to use any money that comes her way to silence the noise in her head. However, many still hope that Xio drops all the destructive habits that she has built throughout to finally start living a healthier, more independent life like her teenage self desperately wanted. At present, Xio's TikTok remains full of the same repetitive content, except it's gotten far worse over time. All she posts now is food and eat with me videos, where she features excessive amounts of unhealthy junk food and normalizes the same overconsumption that nearly killed her. And the facility that was supposed to fix her issues ended up being the place where she developed even more problems. Instead of losing some, Xio ended up gaining several pounds more. The problems with her oxygen did get better, and Xio began seeing the light of day again, but her struggle with emotional immobile limbs appears to stay the same, and nothing much has changed about it. You are the picture of unaccountability and probably blame the American healthcare system. Her eating habits, on the other hand, remain unchanged. From her recent content, it appears that she has completely given up on even the thought of getting better. No amount of advice or criticism will matter unless Xio herself decides that survival has to come before comfort. The audience that was anticipating a breakthrough moment sits shattered and disappointed, knowing that the person they were cheering on has completely retreated from the battle she desperately wanted to win. The viewers face empathy burnout while the creator posts reckless videos, completely discarding what the 15-year-old dreamer would have wanted. XioMara's story is uncomfortable to watch because it forces people to confront something they usually simplify. Obesity at this level is not just about laziness, bad choices, or internet jokes. It's a poisonous blend of addiction, isolation, mental dependence, public humiliation, and self-destruction, all feeding into each other until the person trapped inside can no longer separate comfort from harm. At one point, Xio genuinely wanted to change. The teenage girl who cried on national television, the woman who documented every small victory online, and the creator who inspired thousands of viewers with her progress were all real versions of her. But over time, the attention shifted. The internet stopped rewarding recovery and started rewarding excess. The more alarming the behavior became, the more views it generated. And somewhere along the way, the goal stopped being survival and became consumption. That does not remove personal responsibility from this whole situation, because whatever it is, no audience, troll, fetishist, or enabler can force someone to save themselves. The hardest truth in this entire story is that change only works when the person wants it more than the addiction. And right now, XioMara appears exhausted, detached, and fully consumed by the very thing that has already nearly killed her. Still, there's something tragic about watching thousands of people witness a slow collapse in real time while being completely powerless to stop it. Because beneath the mess, the delusion, and the reckless choices, there's still a person who once wanted a better life. And that's what makes watching her choose against it so disturbing.